entire analysis. Okay, so guys, I think there was some issue. So again, welcome everyone, and I welcome you all at the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Today is 6th of May, and let's start with the video. In today's video, we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu newspaper, all the articles along with the background we are going to see. And I would also like to tell you that you can download the explainer notes of this entire session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's see the overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's newspaper. So here we have the page number 1, and the first article, Central Security Forces flood crisis hit Manipur. Okay. Now guys, recently we have seen that in Manipur there was a conflict that had happened between the Metis and the other tribal people, fine, and who are basically, there was the issue with respect to the demand of ST status by the Metis people. Now already this particular issue, guys, we have seen in the yesterday's newspaper analysis, where the entire issue we have already tracked. Okay, if you have seen it, well, good. Now you are not required to track these everyday developments, and if you have not seen, then I will recommend you to see the yesterday's newspaper analysis discussion. Then here we see PM uses the Kerala story to attack Congress poll campaign in Karnataka. So basically, guys, this Kerala story is a kind of a movie that has to be screened, where it is being talked about that the girls from the Kerala, okay, many of them, and it is being said that thousands of the girls have been sent to the Syria, they have been trafficked, fine. Now there is a kind of a politics on this particular movie that is going on. Now, not required to go too much in detail here. Then further moving on, we have largely the political articles, okay, and then coming to the city section. So we have the regional issues, fine, killing of a gangster in the Tihar jail, all these things. Okay, so guys, moving on, basically you don't have much relevant articles. All the political related issues, advertisements largely have been given in these particular pages. Okay, so we will be moving, and directly will reach to the editorial page. So on editorial page, the first article, Horizon for India Beyond G20 SCO Summit. We'll see this particular article with respect to the exam. Then the side article is talking about this violence in Manipur, and the article is saying that if the government would have been if the government would have been alert, then this particular thing could have been avoided. Okay, but again, no need to go and track these everyday articles, okay, in this particular detail. That now, one thing I'm telling you, that when we talk about this Manipur violence, the issue, why this particular violence happened, what is the major contention, that is important, which we have seen in the yesterday's newspaper. But everyday update that, okay, today these many of armed personals have arrived here, fine, these many people so far has got injured, all that thing, not important. Okay, then further moving on, switching on India's smart electricity future. We'll see this particular article for exam. Symptomatic stall. Now this article talks about the recently Go First has seized their operation. So the article is saying that we need to be we need to see this particular thing, that what are the issues coming in the aviation sector. Then further moving on, the next page, endurance athletes. Now this particular article, guys, is talking about the wrestlers who are protesting in New Delhi because of the charges that because it has been said that they have faced the sexual harassment and no actions are being taken up. Now the article is talking about this particular thing only, but guys, in this particular capacity, up till now nothing concrete has come out. Okay, then further, on today is a Saturday, so on Saturday we don't have text and context page. Okay, fine. Now moving on, border situation is stable, says China foreign minister. So guys, recently we have seen that the foreign ministers meet has happened. SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, foreign ministers meet has recently happened in the Goa. So here the China's foreign minister saying that the situation is border on LAC, and we are trying to resolve the conflicts that are going on there. Okay, then after that, political articles. Now here we see this one article, real time operational picture among several automation initiative. We'll see this particular article. Okay, then guys, further moving on, guys, here. Now basically center looks into the options to counter EU's carbon tax plan. So basically, guys, what actually has happened, the European Union in the last COP that was held in Egypt has come out with the proposal of carbon border adjustment mechanism, where European Union is saying that in the, for example, we are importing steel, we are importing cement. So if from the country where we are importing steel or cement, if that steel and cement have been made with such kind of manufacturing methodologies where a lot of carbon emissions have happened, then we will levy additional custom duties on that. We will levy additional charges on them. So basically, this carbon border adjustment mechanism or this carbon tax is that the products coming from the other countries, and if those products have been developed by lot of carbon emission, then additional duties will be imposed on them. Now, India is not very much comfortable with that. Okay, so India is looking in the options that what we are having. Then further moving on, after that, guys, here Pakistan minister is a promoter of terror industries, Jaishankar. So guys, recently the comment have been made. Then here we see that again the same things have been given. Now understand one more thing, guys, that you are not needed to see that comments, okay, which are being made on this particular level. Okay, now further moving on, CBI raids office of Jet Airways founder's house in fraud case. Fine, not much important articles here. Government program for non-communicable disease renamed. We'll see that what is this program. MG Narega workers may get text message confirming their attendance. Okay, so national mobile monitoring software issue will see there. Then COVID pandemic is no longer an emergency, declares WHO. So WHO says that it is not an emergency, but still pandemic is not over. Okay. Then after that, guys, coming to the business page, January March gold demand fall 17%. Fine. Here we see this is important article. India to mull foreign investment in the nuclear power, and then we have these corporate trends. Okay. After this, there is this sports page. Okay. So guys, this is all the overview of today's newspaper. Two things I want to tell you here before starting up the detailed discussion is that, guys, always you need to learn an art that how to decode the important articles in the newspaper. First of all, guys, in UPSC examination, issues are important. Okay, issues are important. The day-to-day developments are not important because the questions are asked on the issues. Second thing is that when we talk about the IR business page or economy page, you need to decipher this particular thing that every statement that is being given, every trend that is coming is not important, because now how you can understand that thing. I'll advise you that please go and see the previous year papers of mains and prelims examination. You will get a very good idea on that particular thing. Okay, and once we learn this particular art, it is very much easy to complete the newspaper within the 1 hour's time. Okay, now moving on, and let's start with the today's newspaper. So first we take the GS quotation, and this GS quotation we can use in GS 1 2 3 4 or an essay paper. So today we'll take the quotation from Melinda Gates. So Melinda Gates says, a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman, but the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult. So who is an empowered woman? Who is a strong woman? A strong woman is the woman with a strong voice, the women who can talk on the issues that are concerning them. Women, the strong women and the empowered women are those who can raise the voices when they face the injustices. But it is difficult to, but the search for this particular voice can be remarkably difficult. A minute. The search for this particular voice could be remarkably difficult. Okay. Now, we can use this particular idea with respect to the women related issues, GS paper number 1, GS paper number 2, as well as on women. There are many essays that have also come. So there also we can utilize it. Now, starting up the first article, real time operational picture among several automation initiatives of army. Now, this particular thing, guys, we will see with respect to GS paper number 2 and GS paper number 3, issues related to security, issues related to the security and defense. And within GS paper number 3, there is the topic that is the indigenization of defense. There in indigenization of defense also we can see this particular article. Now, what is this particular article all about? Let's understand this thing. Now guys, first of all, before going in this article, some of the basic background information. See, now there are many of the reports where it has come out that India might face a situation of two-front war. Now, India actually has been sandwiched between two hostile neighbors. On one hand, we have China. On other hand, we have Pakistan. And China-Pakistan nexus runs deep, and there is a possibility that a two-front war could be there. So India needs to have defense preparedness. India needs to have combat readiness. And for combat readiness, to give a proper response, information intelligence is very important. And for information intelligence, this new initiative has been brought by the government. Fine. And the defense. Now, first of all, what is this initiative that we are talking about? So basically, guys, Indian defense forces are building a new battlefield surveillance system under Project Sanjay. Under Project Sanjay. Now, what is this battlefield surveillance system? So basically, guys, around the borders. Okay, for example, with the Pakistan, we have a border which runs across the Rajasthan deserts. Then we have the border at LAC, which runs through mountains. Then we have border in Jammu and Kashmir, which again runs through the mountains. Then there are the forested regions also that are there. Now understand this particular thing. When any operation is to be led by our armed forces against the adversary, or if in case the adversaries from the other side, they are entering in our country, we need to have intelligence about their movements. Okay, moreover, when our defense forces are trying to move for an operation, they need to have information about what lies ahead, what is the topography ahead, whether the enemies are stationed ahead or not. So for that particular information, this new setup has been brought. Now what will be done? So basically, guys, there will be basically what will happen? So there will be the thousands of sensors, that will be integrated around our boundaries, around our borders, or around such kind of a theaters. Okay, now these particular thousands of sensors will provide an integrated surveillance picture to the commanders as well as the staff at all the levels. Now basically these particular sensors, they will be deployed across the borders. These sensors will be deployed. So see, information will also be taken from the satellites, information will be taken from the unmanned aerial vehicles. Okay, then there will be the patrol units that will be taking up the information. Now understand what is happening. We have a satellite, so satellite is sending some information. Then there are the sensors that are deployed around the borders, they are sending some information. Then there is a drone, UAV, that is flying, that is sending some information. Then there are other informations coming from the other sources. So all this particular information will form a kind of a joint picture and will help our armed forces to know that what lies ahead. Fine. And even if there are the terrorists who are coming from the other side, adversaries who are trying to enter in our borders, that particular footprint will also be picked by these thousands of the sensors that will be deployed. Okay, and this entire project, where a combined picture will be given, it is called as the battlefield surveillance system built under the Project Sanjay. So what it will help? So our army formation will soon have real-time common operating picture, okay, with information and data from various sensors and inputs which are fused together. Fine. So this is a very important and ambitious automation project that is being rolled out by the India. Now, how it will help? It will help in providing the functional efficiency for human resource management. We can better plan the logistics, movement patterns, inventory management can be done, medical services, and for other administrative functions also. This combined information, combined picture is going to be really helpful. Okay, so this is all, guys, about this particular article. And now moving to the next article. Switching to India's smart electricity future. Switching to India's smart electricity future. Now, guys, what this particular article is all about? This particular article will see, first of all, with respect to the GS paper number 3, infrastructure sector, and within infrastructure, electricity sector of India. Now, basically, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the electricity sector of India, there is a very big problem within the electricity sector, that is the AT&T losses. Okay, that is the basically that is a transmission and distribution losses that are there. Now this article is talking about the smart meters that are being deployed, throughout the country. Now guys, what is a smart meter? Smart meter is a web-based monitoring system. It is a web-based monitoring system. So right now you might have electricity meter in your home. Now that electricity meter records that how much electricity you have used for an entire month. Then a person will come, will take a reading of that particular meter, and then your bill will be generated. Okay, this is the usual process. But when we talk about the smart meter, what are the smart meter? These are connected with the web, and in the real-time basis, it is being captured that how much electricity is being used and what electricity is being used by what type of appliances. So the smart meters are in the real time updating the electricity consumption. Okay, what is the peak hours? Now guys, understand this thing, that in your home you don't use electricity uniformly throughout the 24-hour period. There are certain hours when there is a surge in electricity usage. So when that particular surge is there in your home, what appliances are using more electricity, all these particular data in the real time can be updated by these smart meters, and old meters are being replaced by these smart meters. Now in India, 5.5 million smart meters have already been installed. 100 million meters have been sanctioned that they are needed to be they are needed to be uh, installed, and the target is to replace 250 million conventional electric meters with these prepaid smart meters by 25-26. Now what are these prepaid meters? Now guys, understand, now we are using the electricity, and once we use electricity, after 1 month we will be getting a bill. But there can be these prepaid smart meters also. For example, if for example you have prepaid mobile connections, if you need to use the mobile, first you need to recharge it. So in the same way, these smart meters can be prepaidly, they can also be operated. Now in this particular capacity guys, lot of losses of the distribution companies will go down. What actually happens, people are not paying their bill on the time, people are not paying their bill altogether. So in this smart prepaid functionality that is there in the smart meters, the losses of the distribution companies will also come down. Clear? Now guys, when we talk about India, see, the distribution companies in India, okay, the electricity distribution companies in India, they are in the deep losses, and all the time they are supported by the government by giving them grant, by giving them loan. So if the financial health of the distribution companies will be improved, then at the end of the day it will be helping the government on financial front. Now basically, recently what has happened, the study was conducted by Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEEW, and it found this particular thing, that the people are who are using the smart meters, they are actually experiencing the benefits. 40% of the users of the smart meter, they say that there are multiple benefits that they have. Now guys, understand this thing, that when you are using the smart meter online in real time basis, you can see your energy consumption, you can see that where you are using more energy, which type of appliances are using it. So by this data, a sense of control comes. Okay, so this is a benefit that is coming. Okay, and if the better, if there is a sense of control, you can save electricity. At the end of the day guys, electricity saved, then more number of hours, the everyone will get the electricity. Okay, the next issue that now the article is talking about, that actually there are the 4 suggestions that can be taken up, how to diverse the adoption of the smart meters in our country. So the article is saying this particular thing, that first of all, yes, the first of all, Ministry of Power should drive a nationwide campaign to educate consumers about the smart meter benefit. Now, many of the users are not still very much comfortable in adopting it. There is a sense of indifference towards the smart meter. So they needed to be get educated. They needed to be give awareness that what are the benefits, how they will have a better control if they deploy these smart meters. Then second thing that is coming here is that distribution companies must co-own this program and take the driving seat. Now see this thing, if the smart meters will be deployed, and if there will be the prepaid facility for the bill payment is there, okay, and if the electricity theft will go down obviously by these smart meters, at the end of the day distribution companies will get a lot of benefit. So distribution companies need to lead this particular program. Today when we talk about the smart meters in India, the majority of them are being deployed by advanced metering infrastructure service providers, okay, who are deploying these smart meters. Now distribution companies can coordinate with them, can help them, okay, for deploying the smart meters. Then the third suggestion that comes here for the smart metering is that basically guys, the distribution companies, system integrators, fine, they should be called this, or the distribution companies, system integrators, technology providers who are providing technology for the smart meters, they should come together and should come out with a scalable data solution. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that see, while these smart meters will be there, they will be able to capture the electricity consumption patterns in the real time. They will have so much of data, that particular data they can be, by basically that particular data, by the help of the data analytics, they can draw out the patterns in the electricity consumption in India. For example guys, let's understand this thing, that for example, let's say the period between, let's say, 4 p.m. in evening to 8 p.m. is a peak hour when a lot of electricity is being consumed. We have this particular data. Now, what type of devices, what type of appliances are using more electricity? Let's say ACs, air conditioners in the month of June are using a lot of electricity. Now, let's say that X amount of electricity is being used. Largely, this amount of electricity is being used because the ACs are old. They are based on old technology. They are consuming a lot of electricity. If we replace these old ACs with the new ACs, then a lot of electricity could be saved. This particular information can be used to develop better products, okay, and this particular data can also be used as a marketing pitch to attract the consumers, that if you would have deployed simply a newer technology AC, you could have saved that much in your electricity bills. Okay, so the point that I am telling you here is that, guys, that what can happen, the distribution companies, system integrators, technology providers, they can collaborate together, they can take the help of this particular data, and on the basis of data analytics, different usage of this particular data could be identified, and there this particular data could be leveraged. New solutions on the basis of this particular data, new problems on the basis of this particular data could be identified. The next thing that is coming here is that policymakers, regulators must strengthen regulation to empower consumers to unlock new retail markets. Now understand this thing. There are the new retail markets where this particular bill, where these particular meters could be deployed, not only in the households, but in the other units, there is commercial units, shops, fine, other places also. These meters can be identified. We need to see that. Now, when we talk about, guys, currently there are how these particular see, there are many issues in electricity sector. See, there are the paper bills that are being given today, arrear adjustments, frequency of recharge alerts, buffer time, rebate, data privacy. Now see this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about today electricity is set up, okay, so there are the paper bills that are being given for the electricity consumption. Now when we bring these particular smart meters, these paper bills will be phased out. There can be basically there are the arrear adjustments. Now understand this particular thing. What is arrear adjustment? Suppose let's say your last month's bill was 1000 rupees, and actually you paid only 800 rupees. Now 200 rupees in arrear which you need to pay in the next month. Now basically, when we are today receiving the paper bills, arrear adjustment, fine, all these particular things are being done in a very tedious and a manual kind of manner. When these smart meters will be brought, these smart meters can revolutionize all these particular problems that are there in the bills. Okay, moreover, new thing is that basically data privacy, okay, is in a separate department. Data privacy is an entire separate thing, and electricity generation, electricity distribution, bill generation, that is entirely a separate department. Now as new bills, new smart meters will come, they will generate a lot of data, so data privacy also needed to be taken in account of. Right now these things are scattered in different departments, and now we need to bring all these particular things together. So on that particular thing also we need to look upon. Fine. So this is, guys, all about this particular article. Fine. And now we'll move to the next article. The horizon for India beyond the G20 SEO summit. The horizon for India beyond the G20 SEO summit. Now, what this particular article, guys, is talking about, this article is simply saying this thing, that now 2023 is an important year for India. Why? Because in 2023, India is going to lead SEO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as well as G20. And we are very happy with this. But the article is saying that these things should not blind us, and we also should see that what are the challenges that are coming in this particular year. Now, first of all, India, as is leading the SEO and the G20, India has promised that they will specifically be focusing on climate change, clean energy, sustainable development. Fine. We also talk about reforming the multilateral institutions such as the United Nations, UNSC. All these things are the important areas that we have to focus on this 2023 year. But right now we see this thing that on the world there is a kind of a distrust, there is a kind of a cold war situation that is developing between two camps. On one hand United States, and on other hand the China, Russia. Now India is a country which has not joined any of the camp, neither we are on side of USA nor we are on the side of the China, Russia. So this leaves a little scope for India, how India will maneuver, how India will find its interest, because we have not declared allegiance to any group. Now understand, most of the Europe has declared their allegiance to USA, so they are getting a lot of support from USA, they are getting a lot of leverage from the USA. Okay, some countries are behind the Russia, so they are getting a lot of support from Russia and China, but we are behind neither of the group. So how we will be able to ensure our national interest, that is going to be very difficult kind of thing. Now further, the article is talking about this particular thing. The article is talking about this particular thing, that as we talk about the USA and the USA's allies, they are providing a lot of weaponry support to the Ukraine. Okay. Now at the same time, guys, Russia is also receiving a lot of equipments, weapons from the China and their like countries, and even the countries which are outside the Europe, they are also supplying the weaponry in this particular war. For example, South Korea. South Korea is also ready to supply the arms to the Ukraine, and South Korea also is trying to basically might also involved in this particular war that is going on. Now, when we talk about, guys, India has not taken any kind of a side, and as we have not taken any kind of a side, there are many concerns that India will face. Now, the first concern is that as we are not taking the side, fine, the China. See, as we are not taking side particularly of the Russia, China might use this particular thing to escalate further disputes with the India. China might manufacture artificial disputes with the India because simply we are not supporting Russia. Now, first of all, guys, if we see, China is already seeking to widen the arc of conflict with India. Now, China, first of all, you need to understand that China wants to achieve the hegemony in the world. And before achieving the world hegemony, China wants to achieve the regional hegemony. And for regional hegemony, China wants to dominate every other country which can pose a threat to China. And India is a credible power contender in Asia. So China wants to overpower India. And therefore, China is artificially searching for many disputes and want to widen the range of conflicts. LAC conflict is there. Then the conflict on Arunachal Pradesh, China is manufacturing. And this is also that the China is trying to manufacture. Now understand this thing. Up till now, China is targeting India only for the India's participation in, for example, quadrilateral security dialogue. Okay, India is participating in maritime exercises with the USA, but now China might also try to identify disputes with the India for not supporting Russia. Then next we see that China is now also actively engaged in seeking new friends in India's neighborhood. Okay, for example, China is trying to cooperate with Bangladesh, it is cooperating with Sri Lanka, so that China gets more control or leverage in these countries. Then China also recently brokered Iran-Saudi Arabia diplomatic deal, and by this, China is trying to become a major player in the world politics. Okay, and India, moreover, India is not unaware of China's hostile intentions overall. Fine, already in past also China has such ulterior motives. We know this thing, and by knowing this particular thing, and as we know this particular thing, India also needs to be very much careful. The article is saying that India should not just be blinded by this fact that we are leading SCO, we are leading G20. India should also be keeping in mind that China concern, China factor, and not taking sides of any one camp in this Russia-Ukraine war might be a serious problem. Moreover, if we see, guys, India is also facing the problem in the neighborhood. First of all, guys, if we talk about, India has lost the traction with Taliban in Afghanistan. In the context of Pakistan and Sri Lanka also, we are not having a very much leverage here, fine. And so the relations with the Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Pakistan are not very much good. Moreover, relations with Russia also are not very much good at this point of a time. Relations are might be entering in a prolonged state of uncertainty. Now, guys, we see this particular thing. Just if you remember, yesterday we have seen a newspaper article yesterday that now Russia ruble arrangement in which we were importing oil from Russia and were paying in rupee, that is suspended. So with Russia also, what type of relations will enjoy? That is not very much certain. A period of uncertainty is coming. So India needs to keep all these particular things in mind while leading the diplomatic tables in 2020. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. Now moving to the next article. MG Narega workers may get message confirming their attendance. Now this particular article, guys, will see with respect to the GS paper number 2, government welfare schemes and measures. Basically, guys, what actually is this entire issue? So couple of months back, government came out with the National Mobile Monitoring Software. National Mobile Monitoring Software was a kind of an application on which the attendance of the MG Narega workers will be marked digitally. Right now, when the MG Narega workers are coming on the site to work, there is a physical muster roll, a kind of a register where a physical entry is made that about their attendance, and on the basis of the attendance, they are paid salary, they are paid wages. Now, when we talk about the MGNREGA, it stands for Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which provides minimum 100 days of paid employment to every rural household in a year. Not person, household. Every household will be provided 100 days of minimum paid employment. That can be increased also to 150 days or any such kind of thing. Now, it is saying that when we talk about now the scheme is available only in the rural areas, and the article is basically there were the problems, there were the protests by the workers and the activists by the due to the implementation of the national mobile monitoring software. They say this particular thing, and that in rural areas the internet is often patchy, internet is not very much internet connection is not there, or it is not very much robust. How the workers will know that their attendance has actually been captured? Okay, what if their attendance did not got uploaded there? Secondly, when there is a physical muster roll, always the workers can go and can verify that whether their attendance was marked on that X day or not. But with this digital uploading of the attendance, they will not be having such kind of knowledge, not be having such kind of an awareness. Now, government has come out with this thing that to take care of this particular concern, there will be a text message that will be received by the workers that their attendance has been marked. Okay, so they will receive a text message, and if they are not receiving the text message, they can go to the mate. Mate is a supervisor of that site, and they can raise that particular concern. So that particular thing will be taken care of, and by having this message trail, they will be also be able to understand that on which days they marked attendance and which days they did not mark attendance. This is a solution that they are coming out with. But guys, still there is a kind of an issue that many of the people in rural areas, they are illiterate. They often are, they don't even know how to operate the mobile phones. So still that is going to be an issue. So this is guys the thing that is going on. So this actually is a smart solution, but whether this smart solution be effective also, this is this entire issue that is going on. Now, moving to the next article. India set to mull foreign investment in nuclear power plant. Now, guys, this article also will see with respect to the GS paper number 3, electricity sector, infrastructure sector. Now, guys, when we talk about present situation, India right now is having India's electricity. Right now, 3.2% of India's electricity come from the nuclear powered plant. This is the latest data. And why just so much 3% electricity is coming from nuclear power plants? Because we don't allow the foreign investment in nuclear power plants, and private players are also not allowed into the nuclear power plants. Now, recently what has happened, Niti Aayog has suggested that we can allow the foreign players as well as the private players in the nuclear power. Fine. This is something that we can allow. By that, more nuclear power plants will be deployed, and by that will be able to get more clean electricity. Now, whether government is going to accept it or not, that we need to see on the times to come. So this is just a recommendation that have been given by the Niti Aayog. So when you are talking about clean energy and such kind of things, this particular recommendation by Niti Aayog, you can also talk on. Then moving to the next article, government program. Government program for non-communicable disease renamed. Okay. This article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2, health. So basically guys, right now government running a program on the non-communicable disease. Non-communicable disease are also called as the lifestyle disease, and the name of the government program is National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Disease and Stroke, NPCDCS. This is the scheme which government is running for the non-communicable disease. Now, government is adding many other diseases also in this particular program. That is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, chronic kidney disease, and many other diseases are also there. So, as these diseases are being added in this particular program, so this program's name is now being changed. So, this particular program is now being changed as National Program for Prevention and Control of Non-Communicable Disease. So, simple name. National Program for Prevention and Control of Non-Communicable Disease, and this particular program will be implemented under the National Health Mission. Okay, so you can use the reference of this particular program when we are talking about the issues related to the health, fine, and particularly non-communicable disease, because according to the Lancet Health report, non-communicable diseases have been called as the silent killers. They are killing far more number of people than the communicable disease. Then the main practice question for today. The question reads that India is on a unique journey of meeting its growing electricity demand while decarbonizing its generation sources. In this context, discuss how the smart meters comprise a critical part of this transition toolbox. So, this will be the question for GS paper number 3, 10 marker question. So, that is all guys about the session for the today. And with this, we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Now guys, we'll be meeting on Monday. Till then, please take